Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. Are we all dreaming? That's the question that we're going to ask ourselves today. But first and foremost, what is a dream if not a series or montage of images, of sounds, of visions, of textures, tones, colours, forms, so on and so forth? A bit like right now. So, when you know you're dreaming, you awaken within the dream, and we call that a lucid experience. When we awaken in this physical reality, we call it enlightenment. But for the most part, we don't know that we're dreaming. When we're dreaming, we don't know that we're dreaming, and it's kind of like what most people are experiencing right now. People are waking up, on a daily basis, going through their daily lives, thinking of it as being this concrete, absolute Cartesian external reality, right, out there, right. But nothing is like really out there other than you, yourself. You are really out there. Because remember, all is mind, the universe is mental. Mind isn't something that is, existent solely within the cranium, solely within the head. The mind is a ubiquitous, universal mind. And we'll come on to that in other videos. But, this is the Hermetic traditions. This is the seven Hermetic principles, also known as the seven natural laws. The first of which is mentalism. All is mind, the universe is mental. But of course, it seems like we're not dreaming in our daily waking consciousness, because our brain is kind of playing a trick on ourselves. The universe is sort of playing a game of hide and seek with itself. And I feel like it's doing so purely out of interest, purely to dance, purely to play, purely to forget itself and remember itself anew from a brand new perspective, have a totally new insight into reality, a totally new experience. And it enriches itself in that way, I feel. And so, as Albert Einstein said, reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. And the brains, we have to thank for that. Because the brain is making it a persistent reality from day to day to day. If we can chronologically store it and recall it and remember it, and it was on this calendar date, it's almost like all of our calendar events, all of our sort of like calendars, and all of these human constructs are all conspiring for the continuation of this cold, sort of Cartesian concrete reality, where we don't realize the truth, the more malleable reality that it is illusory. So what we need to do is we need to kind of evaporate the mind. We need to melt the mind, make it more malleable, get in tune with our intuition, get in tune with our imagination. For most people to begin to realize that this notion of separation, this idea that I'm Adam and you are so on and so forth, you are Rebecca, you are whatever your name is ultimately an illusion, being in the sense that, we are all carbon, calcium, oxygen, hydrogen and nitrogen. We are all these chemicals when it boils down to it. So if you could sort of color code these things, you'd see that we're all one and the same. So the Buddhists, I feel, have it right in this regard, and they realize the non-dualistic nature of reality at its core, at its heart. It's sort of like analogous to a tree. There's one tree, but there are, infinite number of buds, of twigs, of branches and leaves and flowers and fruit. And, in this same way, we live in this multi-diverse oneness, but we forget that we are actually the tree itself. Because remember, trees aren't made of wood, they are wood. A lot of our human constructs and labels are getting in the way of us understanding this. And of course, Western education is getting in the way of us actually directly experiencing the alchemical wedding, directly experiencing the baptism of fire, and becoming aware of that Buddhist notion of non-duality, of oneness. So it becomes a very interesting subject when you realize the truth that reality, as the Freemasons say, is a phantasmagoria. Okay, this is in line with the divine paradox, and also in terms of the Rene Descartes quote of "I think, therefore I am." Like regardless of whether this is an illusion or not, it's still real because you're experiencing it as real. It's like when a magician shows somebody, their audience, a trick or some sort of illusion. The audience experiences that illusion for what it is, an illusion. They experience the illusion, but only the magician can see it from both sides. So in a similar sense, we are not only the creature, we're also the creator. Okay, we are actually both. We are seeing reality from both sides, but once we incarnate and once we return to our bodies on a daily basis, we tend to only see it from the myopic human perception, which is to see everything as separate. Everything is just, you're walking down the street, okay, and it's called this street and this shop. I'm going to that shop and I'm going to this shop. We forget that actually we've just made all of this up. Rome is just an idea. Monday is just an idea. Saturday is just an idea. London, LA, none of it really exists that way. So if you go into Google Maps, for example, just switch off all the labels and switch it onto satellite mode, and you'll see that, you know, all these human constructs fall away. And you know, the color of that world map, you know, you think it's green and blue, you think the water is blue, and then the land is all green, but we've only seen that through human lens. So if you take a bee or, you know, a snake, the snake will see it in a totally different array of colors. Infrared, the bee will see it as ultraviolet, the dog would see it monochromatically. So, you know, this is the subjective experience that we're having right now, and we're experiencing it as if it's like, you know, objective, when in fact it's just solely subjective. There is only one reality. There are a billion different ways of experiencing it, and the true nature is phantasmagoric, is illusory in its nature. And so, you know, it's a fascinating subject, and I'd like to discuss that with you further. If you'd like to dive any deeper on this subject, because I feel like it's something that we do need to discuss if we're going to elevate consciousness and move into higher rungs of reality. You know, if you've had any lucid dreams, you will see how blissful and amazing they truly are. But what we need to do now is to awaken in the dream of physical reality, and we call that, like I mentioned, enlightenment. We need to kind of evaporate the mind. We need to be transmuted from ice to water to steam. We will see that separation, where we thought we were these separate ice cubes, where we think everything is so concrete and so externalized, so Cartesian, we will begin to melt into and remember our true divine universal being. And we will see that the true nature of reality, with physical reality included, is indeed illusory. So, thank you very much for watching this video. Do check out newearth.land if you're interested in learning about a new earth, a world in which true freedom, abundance and well-being can exist for all, in which we can all thrive and live our lives the way that we truly want to. Okay, thanks for watching.